Hi guys, my name is Brandon Webb and I'm going to be going over in this sharing video the MVC pattern. So I'll start first by sharing my screen. Let me go to that real quick. Now you should be able to see my desktop. So here in NetBeans, I've been using NetBeans for this class. As you see, I have this here. It was my personal Java app with all my topics that I'm working on. So in here you see I have this controller, and then you see I have here a view and other things. But what I've done is a little bit different. I am doing the MVC pattern. I just haven't labeled it MVC. So as you can see here, this is kind of the MVC pattern. What happens is you have a controller. This controller, what it does is it either gives you a view or the controller goes out to the model, the database, and this model usually connects to some kind of external source as a database or another server. And then what happens is that it gets pushed over to the view. And basically all of this is done simply by this controller. And I'm going to kind of demonstrate that to you today in this Java app. So basically, here's my program. This is my first main class. And so from here, this class, which is called my first Java program, .java, you'll see here, these are all my different classes within this Java app. Now, usually within Java, we do the MVC pattern with each package. So typically you'd have 3, and this one I've just been doing a lot of different coding, but technically you'd have one that has the model, the view, and the controller. So the controller, like this one, is basically where all the logic happens. So if you're doing any calculations or anything, that is where you want to put this. So for example, in here, if I were to go in here and run this app called Beer Song, what it would do is it would then say, all right, I want to play this. So what would happen is I should have the objects in here, and then coming over here to our model. Sorry, that's incorrect. I don't know if that one's actually working. Let's try a different one. Let's say I go to my JSON serialization. That one's not there either. I must have recently done something different to these. Well, let me find one that works really quick. Interesting. Let me write this out. For some reason, my package does not want to be found. So I will do Java app. Collections dot, there we go. Collections array list dot my main. All right. So we're going to go for today from our controller into our view. So this would be our view. And as you can see here, we're going to go to the array list. So I open the array list, and what this does is it basically prints out all of these things, which is our view, what the user would see. And so as you can see, this logic in here should actually be inside of this. That is what would be called the controller. The controller does the logic. The view is simply the printouts. That's kind of how a Java application should work and how you'd want to organize your code so it would be a lot cleaner. So technically, what I should be doing is I would take all of this right here, this add and everything. I would copy and paste all of this into my main, maybe in a separate function. So let's say we call this collections array list. I would call this the collections function. So I basically have to do public static void main string args. And then I'd basically, let me go back on that one. So in here, let me change this one to the correct syntax. String arg, did I have anything wrong here? Nope. So I probably can't have this one the same. So I'd call this one collections. All right. I would then post this code in here. And then basically what I would do is I would just go in here and then I would define those functions. So this object.add, I would just actually have to call this actual function, which is now inside the controller. So that's kind of how this whole entire thing works with the MVC pattern. You're basically wanting to have your code organized. because then you can go through and you can kind of scan through and sanitize your code so it looks a lot cleaner. So that's kind of how the MVC pattern works. If you have any questions, please post them to this email or to this post that I have made. Thank you.